Hello, welcome back to the 26 YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now before we get into this review, I would just like to apologise to anyone who didn't get to see my Moon Knight final episode reaction. Sadly it got blocked for a few days and I was trying to get it fixed. I eventually got it up, but I managed to get it up like 2 or 3 days after it was blocked. So it's doing really bad view-wise, and not a lot of people have seen it. So, sorry if you didn't get to see that. But anyway, let's get into the main topic. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was a film that had a lot, and I mean a lot of expectation around it. Loads of Marvel channels making a lot of speculation of what will happen. Will there be any big cameos? And to be fair, the film didn't have crazy cameos because most of the cameos we actually saw in TV spots or trailer footage. My thoughts on this film really do change a lot because there's a lot of emotions I feel towards this film. So let's start with my overall thoughts. I'm just going to tell you what I thought of the film when I left. And that was not confused, but it's hard to explain. I liked the film, it was good, but there was just that lack of emotion for me. I didn't feel emotionally connected to America Chavez, to Christine Palmer. Wanda, I did feel connected to. I thought Wanda Elizabeth Olsen was incredible in this film. And even Doctor Strange, I didn't really feel that much of a emotional toll to a lot of the things he was going through in this. And like I said, that doesn't make this film bad. Visually, this film is stunning. You can tell this is a Sam Raimi film. I think this is proof that Marvel sometimes needs to just let the director do what they want, because Sam Raimi, look-wise, camera angles, the shots he used, this film was beautiful. However, like I said, there was lack of emotional toll with so many characters, and I think the main one that I felt most disconnected was the connections between America Chavez and Doctor Strange. I didn't feel like that. The fact that a gay character is in the MCU is absolutely incredible. The fact that they're brave enough to do it, and some countries are going, no, we don't want to see that, and Marvel and Disney are going, no, you are going to see this. I think it's a really powerful message. And like, so what, she's gay, so what, she's Latina, it doesn't matter, you know. She's fucking badass. Like, her powers are badass. That's not what disconnected me from the character. It was generally because, and a lot of people are saying this, there was just that lack of emotional toll between her and Doctor Strange. And that's not because of the actor's fault. I think it's because of the storytelling in this film. I don't think they spent enough time bonding the characters. It was a lot more just like, let's see what action we can get in, sort of thing. I also thought the plot of this film was very strange, because the plot starts out literally as soon as the film starts of, okay, you need to get the Book of Ashanti, right? This is what we're all building to, you know, this very start. Even though I did think, to be fair, I don't know if I've heard anyone speak about this, the CGI of Doctor Strange in America running at the very start, I thought was very off. Like, I could tell that was CG models, but apart from that, that starting scene was really good. But yeah, it starts with them running to try to get the Book of Ashanti. That's how the film starts. This film is then building up the whole entire time. All right, to defeat Wanda, to stop Wanda, we need the Book of Ashanti, guys. So, like, we need to go get this book. As soon as they get there, book gets destroyed. Like, that's just the whole plot building up to that point, just gone. Just like, when that happened, I was kind of like, oh, that shows Wanda's cool, but that's what you've been building to. Not even gonna like use the book to do anything, or I thought how they visualized America Chavez's powers though were really good. Like, obviously she punches Starhold into realities so she can travel the multiverse, but the way they made it look like glass almost. The shot when Doctor Strange like jumps through with her and they like travel the multiverse, or like flip through loads of multiverses quickly. That was so sick. If we're talking fight scenes, I think the fight between Strange, Wong, Gargantos at the very start was very sick. I thought the fight between Strange and Sinister Strange was really cool. I think they, especially with how much they showed in the trailers, so it's just one big problem I have with the marketing of this film especially, is I think they showed way too much in the trailers. But the trailers made you believe maybe Sinister Strange was going to be a character that was maybe quite prominent in the film, but he only really makes like a brief like little cameo. But their fight with the musical notes is so creative, and I've never seen a film do anything like that before, and I thought it was really clever. And then the one fight which obviously everyone's talking about is the whole Illuminati sequence. So let's talk about the Illuminati for a second. So the lineup we had was Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, Maria Rambeau as Captain Marvel, Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Charles Xavier. We had Blackball, which was very cool to see. Like, seeing a human in the MCU was very cool. And then we also had Captain Carter and was there anybody else? Oh, Mordo. You had Mordo as well. Who, to start with, I wasn't really sure if he was on the Illuminati, but I think after the film, I think I read somewhere that he was. Like, I wasn't 100% sure. But they did have an empty seat at the very end as well, which I've seen some people theorize could be Superior Iron Man. I really was never on board with the Superior Iron Man train. I think I said in one of my older videos that I don't think that would happen. Some people have said maybe it's Black Panther. You know, Black Panther's someone that turned down the Illuminati in the comics, so maybe that chair was meant for him. And one thing I found interesting that they did with the Illuminati, because something what I imagined the Illuminati from the trailers was going to be this like multiversal, like judging, like sort of like the TVA sort of thing. Maybe they were like created after Sylvie killed Kang or whatever. Because I don't know, I found it quite interesting that the Illuminati, instead of being like a multiversal like thing, they were basically just the Avengers of this universe, and would have been interesting to see some more fights between them. And I think the one thing that the whole Illuminati sequence was really lacking was just a bit more action, because I know it's meant to like really showcase how powerful Wanda is in this moment. You know, she comes in, takes Black Bolt's mouth off him, so his skull caves in and like bro's dead. And obviously she turns Mr. Fantastic to basically spaghetti. She cuts Captain Carter in half with her own shield, crushes Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel. But then when I'm saying that out loud, it sounds so sick, and that's probably what they were thinking when they were writing this in the script. Like, oh, this sounds so cool. But I think where they made the mistake with that was for fan service, not just fan service, just to make it look so much better, maybe add to the story a bit more, would have been just to have some of the characters fight a bit more, especially Maria Rambeau having been alive the most out of those ones I just listed. I think makes the most sense because she probably would be the most strongest out of those ones. But I think Captain Carter surviving longer than Mr. Fantastic, especially. I would have liked, especially if the first time we're seeing Mr. Fantastic in the MCU, I would have liked a little bit of action from him, you know, just like actually like maybe challenging her a little bit, even though, and I know Wanda is much stronger than Mr. Fantastic. It would have been nice to just see a little bit of action. All you really see is his arms stretch out a little bit, and then he's dead. However, the Blackball one I think was kind of justified, because I actually quite liked how it was like, you know, lost his mouth and he was like freaking out. I think that death was actually quite cool. I wonder if the actors were actually on set together, because none of the other characters in that moment seemed freak out. Like they kind of just seemed like, well, okay, Blackbolt's skulls just exploded, whatever. But anyway, then we get to the part where Christine is probably gonna have to let America Chavez out of the prison cell, because, you know, Wanda's coming. She's like walking, she crushes the skull or whatever. And then we have, which I thought should have been a big fight between Professor X and Wanda, because this is something that concept art showed ages ago, and loads of people thought could have been fake. Some people were like, maybe it's real. I would have just liked a big fight between Wanda and Professor X. I think he really could have like got in her head a little bit more. I liked how they had it like the rubble from like WandaVision, and they had WandaVision on the TV, and Wanda, like the real Wanda, was stuck underneath the rubble, and he was like trying to get her out. And I think how they did that with the whiteness, I think it looked really cool. And it was scary how, you know, her hand came back, and then you hear like this like little whisper, like, and then she just like snaps his neck. Like, it's all really like the whole everything Wanda did in this film was so cool, but sometimes I'm thinking this is so overpowered. I want to see a bit more. I feel like what I was lacking from this film was more all the time, and not cameos. I don't care about the cameos. Like, people talk about Superior Iron Man, Wolverine. I don't care about the only one. I think the cameo that I said this in my cameo video, the ones I thought were gonna be in this. I really, really thought Deadpool would have made an appearance. Just even if it was just a little snippet, I feel like Deadpool was like the easy one that you could just throw in there. Because I think I theorized that maybe you could have Deadpool capitalized for, you know, time traveling at the end of Deadpool 2, and just like maybe the Illuminati took him hostage because he was, you know, being bad. So I think Deadpool would have been an easy one, I think, to chuck in there. Even if it was literally like a Stanley brief cameo sort of thing, like I wouldn't have cared. I think just he's the one that I think would have just okay. He's in the MCU because now it makes me really want to know how they're gonna introduce Deadpool into the MCU. And now on the track of me saying I want him more. I don't like I said, I didn't mean cameos. I mean, I wish we explored other universes. Like when we were going through the multiverse, I wish we explored a bit more. We only really explored what, 3? We explored the main MCU 616 as it got confirmed to be, which is nice to have that confirmed. We had the one that the Illuminati took place in, and we had the one that Sinister Strange was in. They're the 3, to my knowledge, the only 3 that we went to. Obviously, we took a big like tumble through the multiverse, but we never like stayed in another one, or like even if it was only for like a 10-20 second like little bit of time, I think it would have just like really expanded the film a lot more. And just like even learning about the ones that we did stay in, because obviously we learned that red means go on the traffic lights and stuff, but like that's all we learn. Like I wish we learned a bit more. Like Eric Voss like said in one of his videos that everyone was wearing umbrellas, so maybe the weather is like artificially created. So like, oh, certain time frames, this is when it's gonna rain today, 100%. So everyone gets their umbrellas ready. I think like that's something Eric Voss has theorized. I wish like they expanded on stuff like that in the film. Like, oh, this is what this universe is, does so much differently to ours. And like, I don't know. I think it could have been a real cool brain tease. To be fair though, when I usually make reviews, I normally like have everything in my head, and I've only watched this once, and I've left it a few days to really let it settle in. So my memory's not as fresh as I think it should be, and a lot of things are very patchy in my brain right now because I'm like just trying to pick out things that I really didn't like and things that I really did like. Because I remember the last review I did was Morbius, and I spoke about that for ages, and I had so many things to talk about because that film was so bad. Literally, so many things. Like I remember speaking about in that film how they used very early on in the film they used a closing like transition, and I've said it was so bad that they did that because it didn't make sense with the story. It was the only time they used it in the film. It just like seemed really like off when I saw that, and that was just one thing from that film. Like really early on, that I was like, oh, I don't like that. And they did that in this film, but the difference is in this film, it like the transitions and stuff they used was so cool. I really liked how when they showed Wanda, when just before she was about to dreamwalk, I believe, when they had the rock music playing and like everything was like fading in and out. I haven't seen that in a film for what seems like 10+ years. Like like, and I'm 19, so I'm talking like when I was a little boy. It's just like that seems like something that's not been in films for so long, and that really seems like something that Sam Raimi, or maybe like what's his name? Is it Robert Rodriguez, the guy that directs some of the Mandalorian episodes? It really seems like something he would do. We also, I know this is very weird order. I'm just like popping things that come into my head. We also saw Bruce Campbell make the appearance, as he always does in a Sam Raimi film, as the pizza ball guy, and I thought that was cool how they did that. I really thought beforehand maybe they were gonna do what basically, if you didn't know, Bruce Campbell, I believe that's his name. Maybe I've butchered. I think it is Bruce Campbell, something Campbell. Makes appearances in basically, I think, every single Sam Raimi film. Sometimes I don't think he has, but basically all of them. I mean, the Spider-Man trilogy that he did, he played the announcer in Spider-Man 1. In Spider-Man 2, he played... Oh, I'll come back to that one because I can't 100% remember. In Spider-Man 3, he played the waiter, the French one, that was like, put the ring in the wine. What did he play in Spider-Man 2? Oh, he was at the he was the bouncer at Mary Jane's performance thing. That's what he was. But anyway, this seems a bit off track, but I'm getting somewhere with this. Basically, he was meant to be playing in the fourth film. He was meant to be set up as failed actor Mysterio. So he was meant to be in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films. He was meant to play Mysterio at some point. Now, I don't think it was going to be anything like massive. I think it was going to be kind of played off as a bit of a joke, and I think there was either talks about, because Vulture was going to be the main villain of that film, but I think there was talks about at the start having like a quick montage of him just defeating Mysterio, Rhino, and I can't remember who the other one was, but there was going to be somebody else that were just going to kick off straight away. I think it might have been Scorpion. So obviously, because now I'm finally getting to Multiverse of Madness, a lot of people thought that he maybe might have made a multiversal appearance as a Mysterio, like from another universe, which I think would have been really cool. That would have been a cool way to use his cameo in this film. Obviously, it doesn't matter because he was still funny and it was used to good taste, but I think that would have been really cool if they had like done that. I think there's a lot of things like I think this is the one thing so many people, like I've said, have really been like upset about with this film, because the film it's not bad, but the reason so many people don't like it isn't just because we want more. It's because the story wasn't that good. It really wasn't, and it's something really. It's something really hard to say because Sam Raimi is a brilliant director. Kevin Feige, what he's done at Marvel, he's done such a good job. Phase 4 so far has been so good, and Multiverse of Madness is a good film. But I really thought Kevin Feige would have really thought about this, and this seemed to me, with the title Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that seems like Marvel's way of going, oh yeah, Sony, yeah, we helped them out on No Way Home, but like we've got our project, Sony, and this is just gonna show that we're so much better than you. And that's what I thought this film was gonna be like, kind of like Kevin Feige flexing a bit, going, yes, you've got your Spider-Man, but we've got all of this. And that's not what happened. And that's not something I was sad about, obviously, but I think the main thing, like I said, I was sad about was the story not being strong enough. I don't think anything between America, Doctor Strange, Christine Palmer, I really thought anything with Christine Palmer in, I thought was really lacking emotion. I think some points it was like, oh, this is kind of cute, and then some points it was like, I don't know. Especially, I think if you look at Doctor Strange's arc from the first Doctor Strange film, Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, there is an arc. You can definitely see it's going like this. But in this film alone, normally in a film, a character goes arc, 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 arc. Like the arc will start, it will end, and then on another film, and then you get an overall arc. In this film, it kind of felt like it went. You know what I mean? It felt like it was going somewhere, and then I'm not sure if it did. Obviously, he chose not to kill America, but like, is that really much of like an arc? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just doesn't I don't know. Like that scene at the very end when he's like, "Go kick that witch's ass," and she goes like, and she's like smiling. I really felt in that scene. Like I never feel like this towards an end of a Marvel scene, especially one this big, where I'm sat there going, I don't really care what happens to her. I don't really care if she's like, I don't know. I don't. It just. I didn't. I don't think they built her up enough as like a character to be like, I really want her to go like defeat Wanda. I think it was more like they built her up as like a side character to Strange, and then when it came to her being like the person who's got to save the day, it kind of seemed like, yeah, but it's not her film. It's Doctor Strange's film. And that's the one. I think there wasn't enough character development for Strange in this, which obviously, as it's called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of that Madness, I thought it would have really explored Strange a lot more, because I feel like I feel like there's a lot of things that they could have gone over which they didn't go over. Especially, I think they should have really spoke about in Infinity War what it was like mentally for him to live through all those different timelines that he had to go like look through to see which one he had to save the day for Endgame. Like, I think if they spoke about that and just expanded on how he felt, maybe even showed him going through and seeing some of the different takes, I think that would have just made this film like 10 times better and really made you feel more of a connection towards Strange, because you would have been like, damn, this guy's been through trauma just to save everybody. Because that's what it's kind of rubbed off in this film. It's kind of like, oh yeah, you saved the day, but like you've caused trauma to me, and like I lost vision because of this, and so many people are living like. I wish they showed what Strange had to go through to make that sacrifice, to tell Tony Stark, you're the one who's got to die. I wish they really showed what Strange had to live through 14 plus million different timelines, or like at least look through some of them to know that they could only win one. Right, that must have been a traumatic experience. He's seen a lot, and I think they didn't expand on what the things he's seen and how messed up his brain truly would be. I also thought this film did. I'm going back, like I'm saying, the timeline on this. I'm just jumping back into. I'm going all the way back to the start now. But I thought one thing that was a bit random was when they brung Sarah, who's Wong's love interest in the comics, how they just brung her in for like a few minutes and then killed her off, and he was like, Sarah. It's kind of like, I don't get why films do this. They try to set every character up with a love interest. Like, it just reminds me of like Finn and Poe. No, not Finn and Poe. Finn and who's that really dead character in Star Wars now? You know who I mean. Everyone knows who I mean. She's the one no one cares about. But sometimes I think they just kind of like try to build like love connections between characters, and it's like you don't. This isn't essential to the story. Anyway, I think I have actually blabbered on a bit too much. I just want to say first and foremost before I end this, like Elizabeth Olsen, like I want to stress this again, because I especially don't want any Wonder stands coming out after me saying things I've said about this film. Elizabeth Olsen is absolutely incredible in this film, like so good. If you want to see a really good acting performance, you've got to see this for what Elizabeth Olsen does. Like, I was actually scared of her at times when she looked at us. Like, that's the first time the fourth wall has been broken in the MCU. Even though she didn't see anything, it alluded that she could see us, and that scared the shit out of me. The way she like killed some of the characters was fucking scary. The way she shouted at her kids at the end when she was like, "Stop it!" I was like, "Sorry, Mum." The way she got down her knees at the end and the other one like stroked a tear, I thought that was all really powerful. But the one thing, like I said, in this, the one thing that took away that moment from being really special to me and lacked little bit of emotion was the fact that they showed that in the trailers. Why are you showing that in the trailers? Come on, Marvel, get better. And I did actually hear Kevin Feige say, "Oh, we showed too much in the trailers." So I don't even know if Kevin Feige's in charge of that. And I think whoever's doing the promotion material at Marvel really needs to get a lot better, because they're showing way too much at the moment in trailers, and it's kind of like ruined. Like, for example, showing Abomination in the Shang-Chi trailer was really cool, and it was like, oh my god, what? Wong and Abomination are fighting? And then that was literally like a 10-second clip in the film. If you don't put that in the trailers at all, and then that's in the final film, you're like, whoa, this is sick. And I think that's what they should have done with the Illuminati, right? All they showed in the trailers was the back of Patrick Stewart's head, and that was it. I think if they didn't show anything, absolutely nothing, you don't come in with any expectations, you see Patrick Stewart and you're like, what? And I would have just been so much better that way, because I think they did a really good job at Spider-Man No Way Home. We're showing the villains in the trailers, and then it's going, oh my god, oh, the Spider-Man gonna be in it, oh, the Spider-Man gonna be in it. But, there's not that, no one ever had that, these guys are 100% in it. Like, even when there was, like, leaks going around, like, I was, on that day, I was like, I watched it the day it came out. UK had it a few days before everybody else, luckily. And I was there in the cinemas going, oh, please, please. Like, I know we've seen leaked pictures, but they can easily be faked. Hopefully, like, I still have that doubt inside me. And I think they need to stop showing so much in trailers, so you can go into films and actually be surprised at things happening instead of going, oh my god, I actually memorised this line from the trailers. But anyway, like I said, I've blabbered on a bit too much. Let me know what you guys thought of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Overall, I think I'm going to give this film an 8.5. I still think it was good. Actually, I'm going to pop that down to an 8. I think this film is very good. It is visually stunning. Sam Raimi does a brilliant job. Elizabeth Olsen is amazing. Benedict Cumberbatch is good at times. Chichi Gomez, I think her name is, who plays America Chavez. I think she did all she could do, and she's a brilliant young actress. I think they just let her down with some of the writing in this, and I think the storytelling really did lack emotion at times, like really lack emotion. But it's still a good film, and I think if you haven't watched it, which I'm sorry if I've basically just told you the whole story, but if you haven't watched this, I'm sure you agree with a lot of the things I have spoke about in this. Anyway, if you guys would like to see any more reviews from me, I actually do have 2 reviews up on the channel. I have a Morbius one, which is an interesting one to watch, and I also have an Eternals one, which is also quite an interesting one. We don't really have a good track record here on the channel for reviewing films. They've all seemed to be not the greatest of quality, but yeah, there will be a playlist for them right here. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. See you in a bit.